Okay. Chapter 36. Some Old Acquaintances. While Pinocchio swam as fast as he could to reach the shore, he noticed that his father, who sat astride his shoulders with his feet in the water, was trembling as though he had the fever. Was he quaking from cold or fright? Who could say? Perhaps it was partly from both, but Pinocchio, thinking that he was afraid, tried to reassure him. Courage, father, he said. In a few minutes we shall be safe on shore. But where is that blessed land? Asked the old man, becoming still more alarmed and searching for with his eyes, far and near. I can see nothing in any direction except sea and sky, but I can see a beach, said the puppet. You know, I'm like a cat. I can see as well by night as by day. Poor Pinocchio. He pretended to be full of hope, but on the contrary, he was beginning to give up his strength. He was beginning to give up. His strength was ebbing away, and his breathing grew more difficult. In fact, he was almost exhausted, and the shore was still far away. But he swam until he was entirely winded. Then he turned to Geppetto and said in a faint voice, "Help me, father, or I shall drown." Both father and son began to sink, when suddenly they heard a hoarse voice saying, "Who is going to drown? My poor father." "And I," gasped the puppet. "I recognize that voice. You are Pinocchio, yes. And you?" I am the tunny who was your fellow prisoner in the dogfish." "How did you escape?" "I followed your lead. You showed me the way, and after you escaped, I did also." "You are just in time, Tunny. I pray you, for the love you bear your tunny children, to help us, or we are lost. Gladly just hang on to my tail, both of you, and let me pull you along. In 4 minutes I will tow you ashore, as well as you can well guess." Geppetto and Pinocchio lost no time in accepting this offer, but instead of holding on to the tail, they thought it would be safer to sit down on the back of the tunny. "Are we too heavy?" asked Pinocchio. "Heavy? No, not at all. You feel like a couple of seashells on my back," replied the polite tunny, who was large and strong, being about the size of two-year-old cat. When they reached the shore, Pinocchio jumped down and helped his father to land. Then he turned to the tunny and said in a voice which trembled with emotion, "My friend, you have saved my father. Words cannot express my gratitude to you. Allow me to give you a kiss, mwah, as a sign of eternal friendship." The tunny thrust his nose out of the water, and Pinocchio, kneeling down, gave him a very affectionate kiss. At this token of tender regard, the poor tunny, who was not used to such things, felt so moved that he began to cry like a baby and quietly swam away to hide his tears. Meanwhile, day had come. Pinocchio offered his arm to Geppetto, who had barely enough strength left to stand up, and said to him, "Lean upon me, father. We will walk ahead very slowly, and when we are tired, we can rest by the way." "But where can we go?" asked Geppetto. "In search of some house where you, for charity's sake, they will give us a crust of bread to eat and a bunch of straw to lie upon." They had not gone 100 paces when they saw by the roadside 2 ugly-looking fellows asking alms. They were the fox and the cat, and they had changed so you would hardly have known them. The cat, who once pretended to be blind, had now really become so. The fox had grown old and was lame, and had lost his tail. The miserable thieves had sunk into such depths of poverty that he was at last forced to sell his tail to a peddler to be used for a brush. "Oh, Pinocchio," cried the fox in a whining voice, "give a little aid to two poor wretches." "Two poor wretches," repeated the cat. "Goodbye, cheats," said the puppet. "You tricked me once, but you can't catch me again." "Believe me, Pinocchio, today we are truly poor and miserable." "Truly," repeated the cat. "If you are poor, you deserve it. Good day to you. Have pity on us this time." "This time," repeated the cat. "Goodbye, cheats. May you learn wisdom from your suffering." So saying, Pinocchio and Geppetto went calmly on their way. Finally, they came to a roadway which led into the middle of the field, where stood a little house made of thatched straw and with a tiled roof. There. Celsius. "That house must be occupied by someone," said Pinocchio. "Let us go and knock." They did so. "Who's there?" called a voice from within. We are a poor man and his son who have no shelter or food," replied the puppet. "Turn the key and the door will open." Pinocchio obeyed and they entered the house, but they looked all around and saw no one. Where is the master of the house?" the boy asked in surprise. "Here I am." The two turned quickly and saw on a rafter over their heads no less person than the talking cricket. "Oh, my dear cricket," cried Pinocchio in greeting, Now I am your dear cricket. He. But do you remember the day when you hit me with a hammer?" "You are right, cricket. Now it's your turn. Drive me away with a blow of the hammer, but have mercy on my poor father." "I will have mercy on you both, but I thought it wise to remind you of your own unkindness in order to show you that in this world one must be courteous to all, if one would expect courtesy in the hour of need." "Right again, cricket, and I shan't forget it. But tell me, how did you obtain such a little house?" "It was given to me yesterday by a handsome goat, whose wool was of a beautiful blue color." "And where did the goat go?" asked Pinocchio with lively curiosity. "I do not know." When will it return?" "Never. Yesterday it went away bleating, as if to say, 'Poor Pinocchio, I shall never see him again. The dogfish has devoured him.'" "Did it really say that?" "Then it was she." "It was my dear fairy," said Pinocchio, beginning to cry. After a while he dried his eyes and made a good bed of straw for the aged Geppetto. Then he asked the talking cricket, "Can you tell me where I can get a glass of milk for my father? 3 fields from here you will find a farmer who owns some cows. Go to him and you'll get your milk." Pinocchio ran to the farmer and said to him, "May I have a glass of milk for my father?" "A glass of milk costs 1 cent," replied the man. "Where's your money?" "Excuse me." "I haven't any." "Then I haven't any milk." "But wait a minute, maybe we can manage it. Can you work a Welsh sweep?" "What is that?" Well, it's a thing we use to draw up water out of a well. If you will draw 100 buckets full, I will give you a glass of milk. All right. The farmer set Pinocchio at work with the well swept, sweep, and he toiled hard. Before he had drawn his 100 buckets full, he was wet with perspiration from head to toe. He had never felt so tired in all his life. This work has always been done for me by a little donkey, said the man. But today the poor beast is sick. Will you let me see him? Asked Pinocchio. Certainly. Pinocchio went with him to the stable, and there, stretched out on the old straw, he saw the donkey dying of hunger and overwork. After looking him in the face, he said to himself, I think I know that donkey. And stooping down, he asked in donkey language, Who are you? At this question, the donkey opened his deeming eyes and answered in a broken voice, I am Candlewick. Then he closed his eyes again. Oh, poor Candlewick, said Pinocchio in a low voice. And he took a wisp of hay and offered it to him. But the donkey paid no attention. You seem very sorry about a beast that never cost you anything, said the farmer. Then how should I feel? Who am out good money on his account? He was a friend of mine. A friend of yours? Yes, a schoolmate. That's rich, shouted the man, laughing. What sort of a schoolmate would a donkey make? The puppet felt so ashamed at this that he made no reply. He took his glass of milk and went back to his father. That's the end, I believe, of chapter 36.